Protect the
Matt tried the gold glitter last time, and it just didn't go well.
I just have a question. If you, instead of, when you split the solution into two, where you have resin and hardening, could you put two different colors in each of those at the very beginning?
Probably.
And then so you could see when it's mixed well?
Yep. But I think, I mean, the purple got all the way through here, so this is mixed pretty well.
Just one word of caution, you know, we've tested this out with food coloring, and that's why we're using it. You can try glitter. We've never tested it with glitter, so if it compromises the...
Actually, we have.
Oh, they tested it with glitter. Sorry.
Well, you got to go way back. You got to go back to the very first ROV that was built here, Bot Matrix. Bot Matrix's epoxy job on its buoyancy system had glitter under it.
And it hardened okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, glitter's fine, but everything else we can't vouch
Hey,
for.
So
it's
now
harder enough to beat Neo Postgraduate School.
what you're going to notice about this camera is that on the line there's still that little black chunk of plastic there that we didn't cut off. And we actually want to leave that on because it's going to be strain relief. When we get this in the epoxy, now if something happens, if as you're walking away from this, this is still plugged into the TV and it yanks on it, instead of yanking on the wires and pulling the wires out of your camera, this black nub here acts as strain relief. So it's going to help the camera to stay intact. So when I pour this, I want to make sure this the little black part there, the black nub, is underwater. So I'm going to pour this.
Now you can't see the camera.
Now I can't see the camera, but it'll be in there. And that's one of the things about this is once you pour this, we're never getting this camera out of here again. But what we found is that this is a good enough way that this camera should work for quite some time. And we found that you don't need to get to it because generally it's going to work well for you. A little on the outside there. And generally, we don't want to spill this over, so I'm not going to fill it all the way to the top. But you'll notice the camera is all underwater. That little nub is all underwater. And there we go. So that camera in 8 hours, 4 to 8 hours, will be ready to move. And in 24 to 48 hours, you can put it underwater and it will work. Okay? So we're going to have you guys, thank you.
That's demonstration.
And just real quick, one note, like Matt said, when the camera is all done and it's hardened, one of the things you might try to do for additional strain, stress relief is carefully tie a little knot.
Yeah, you can put an overhand knot in here. That way, when you pull out, instead of pulling on the wire, it'll pull that knot. It helps as well.
But don't do it until everything's hardened and all that good stuff. But that's an extra little.
Yep, and so one additional thing I want to go over is, as I said, we plug this camera right into an outlet, AC. In the competition, you're actually not allowed to plug your camera into AC. So we do have handouts about how to convert this. And essentially what this big part on the end is, this is a power supply, which input 120 volts from the wall. The output is 12 volts DC. So essentially this is taking AC to DC, but we don't let you do this. So Jill's going to have handouts about how to convert this, and essentially you cut this wire and wire it into the battery. So essentially we would cut this off right here.
I'd give it 2 or 3 inches.
Yeah, you want, give it a couple so you can use it again. And like I say, follow the instructions. I believe there's one black, one that's white and black on here, and I believe white and black is the positive. I think it says that on here somewhere.
But because you left that extra wire, you can find out. Everybody know what AC is? No. AC comes out of the wall. It's how power is delivered to your house. It's called alternating current. And that just means that if you look at one of the connections, it's always going positive and negative, positive and negative. DC, a direct current, is what you get out of, for example, a car battery. There's a whole rack of them over there. And that's just plus 12 volts, flat out. Okay. So this is a converter that goes from alternating current to direct current.
And yeah, so as I said, this is important. You show up at the contest and try and plug in AC, where we say, nope, can't do it. And you're either going to have to go without a camera or work on the side of the pool really quick with some of these folks. Yes.
If they cut the wires long enough, 3 or 4 inches long, right there where you're saying, they could split that, put some alligator clips on them, and test your motors with them by plugging that thing in the right hand.
Yeah, so I'm not going to cut this, but yeah, cut this, put on solder on some alligator clips, ring, whatever you want to connect to the battery, and try your motors with it.
Yeah, save your power supply.
Yeah, don't throw this out. You never know when you might need it again. Okay?
Clarification, the camera obviously would have the battery.
Yes, the camera.
Like a monitor?
The monitors can't
You're
be
playing the
plugged
110
in.
with it.
Yeah, monitors can be plugged into AC. Ranger class, we're gonna have one monitor there for you. If you're a scout class, you're gonna have to provide your own monitors. Okay?
So, and what I have also is this camera was developed by, how many of you guys have heard of a video ray? How many of you seen a little video ray, little tiny ROV no bigger than a bread box? That company is a really great supporter of the MIG competitions, and the very first year that we had the competition, Video Ray came and they saw kids were having trouble with their cameras. Teens' cameras were flooding, it was a mess. So they went back and developed this procedure that we used here today and came up with some instructions. So essentially what I'm going to give to you guys when you break out into your groups, I'm going to give you this set of instructions, which is basically what Matt went through. And then I'll also give you this little wiring diagram that will help you, as Matt said, to wire your camera into your 12-volt system.